Hey investors. So in this video we're going to look at the 5-year CAGR of the stocks I hold in my etoro copy fund. So for reference, this is the etoro copy fund. These are the stocks we have. So let's start with Intuitive Surgical. So over the last 5 years it's had a CAGR of about 34.6%. Not a bad CAGR. So next up is Amazon. Amazon has a CAGR of about 31.9%. So a good CAGR as well. Next up is Google. Google is about 27.3%. And next is Facebook. So Facebook has one of the lowest CAGR so far at 20.7%. So there are two ways you could look at it. You could say that, since it's done relatively poorer in the last 5 years, it's gonna just to continue to do poorly in the next 5 years. Or you could look at it and say that since it's done not too well in the last 5 years, this gives it much more potential in the next 5 years. And I'm in the latter camp. I think it has a lot of potential in the next 5 years. Next up is MasterCard. So MasterCard has done about 27.6% over the last 5 years annualized. Adobe has done about 36.5%. Microsoft has done about 37.9%, so this is one of the highest so far. So again, you could think of it in two ways. You could say that since it's done so well in the last 5 years, it's probably not going to do as well in the next 5 years, and I'm probably of that view. Especially since it's a dividend stock, it gives away I think 1/3 of its money as dividend. I don't like dividend stocks in general. I think the money can be better used to reinvest in the business. So Alibaba is next, and this has one of the lowest CAGRs over the last 5 years. It's just 5.2%. So again, you could think of it this way. You could say that since it's done relatively poorly over the last 5 years, it has a lot of potential over the next 5 years, and I am of that view. In general, there's a lot of debate about Alibaba and how the Chinese government is going to clip the wings of its big tech. I'm not so sure. I think Alibaba still can grow. Next up is PayPal, and PayPal has a CAGR of 35.4%, so one of the highest so far. Autodesk is next, 26.9%, so not too shabby as well. I think this one will surprise a lot of people. We know that Teladoc has crashed quite dramatically, but over the last 5 years, Teladoc has one of the highest CAGRs at 34.8%. So even before the pandemic, Teladoc was doing quite well. Next up is Visa. So Visa is 21.3%, so it's lagged MasterCard considerably. I generally think MasterCard has better growth prospects because it's a smaller and younger company, and it has more room to expand in the emerging markets where it's more dominant than Visa. And so far the growth rate seems to prove that. And Baozun, this one's been a complete train wreck over the last few years. It's barely positive over the last few years. It's just grown 1% over the last 5 years. So my personal view is I think that Baozun is quite undervalued. It's getting caught in the crosshairs of the US-China tensions. I think there's potential. I think over the long term, I think it's in the best interest of both nations to have a friendly relationship, and so Baozun should continue to benefit. But in the short or medium term, Baozun may continue to be volatile. Nvidia, this has the highest CAGR of all the stocks we've looked at so far, 60% annualized. I think Nvidia looks a little overvalued, especially if you look at it compared to Intel. So I probably will not be adding to my Nvidia position anytime soon. So S&P Global is the second last company we'll look at. It's done about 30.7% over the last 5 years, so a very good result. And the last one we'll look at is Illumina. Illumina has done about 19.2% annualized over the last 5 years. So these are some of the top holdings I have in my etoro copyfund. What do you think? Some of these stocks have done very well over the last 5 years. Can they continue their winning streak? Or should we focus on those that have done not so well? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and have a great day.